Alright, this is kind of going to be a new format of videos, and I know I haven't made one in a while, and that's, again, obviously we kind of know why. We've kind of been in a bit of a content drought, and, you know, things aren't looking too great as well. You know, we're not getting an update till June, and Season 5 has been delayed indefinitely for at least, you know, the rest of the month, basically, at this point. We've been confirmed to get a Q&A later this week, or next week, I think it was, and then we're getting I think on the Reddit Q&A, they said they're going to address the issues with the game on April the 1st. A pretty ironic date, but we'll see what comes out of that. In this video, I actually wanted to discuss something else. I finally found the footage of the flintlock from the pre-alpha. This was actually something that I remember seeing, and I've been trying to look for it for months, and I came across a Sir Medieval video that showed a little clip of it, and it also showed the animation or a previous old ability for Musket where you could actually weapon butt as well. I mean, this is pretty cool stuff because this was in the game at some point. You know, they did have a flintlock, they did have a melee ability for the Musket for close range gameplay. I don't know why they scrapped it. I think it would have been pretty cool to have a flintlock. Rumors do suggest that the next weapon is either going to be a flintlock or a dagger. I actually want it to be a dagger, but I do think the next weapon will be a flintlock based on the in-game UI they want to fill out the page. Again, leading into the fact that they've already got the models and everything for a flintlock, and they've actually had development with the flintlock as well. And it was an interesting weapon. It actually kind of reminds me of the blunderbuss, and maybe that's what actually happened to the original flintlock weapon, is they changed its design into a blunderbuss to be a bit more unique. And that's a highly likely case as well, because from this short clip here on Sir Medieval's video, we can see the flintlock packs quite a punch, which is very similar to what the blunderbuss does in live currently. We don't really know for sure, but you know, there was a flintlock at some point, and I think that's pretty interesting to point out. And again, there's a high likelihood the next weapon is either a flintlock or daggers, based on speculation. Other than that, we don't really know what's coming. We know that we're getting a raid and the PvP island. Other than, you know, the leaks we've had from the PTR and shit, we don't really have much info on what it actually entails, and especially if it's going to be good content. Recently, as pointed out in one of Qaulity's videos, there is actually no paid expansion this year, which is pretty interesting. Whether that means we're not getting much major content this year, or we are getting major content and it's going to be like a Brimstone release, that is something to look out for. I do have a feeling they're going to do a free Brimstone-like release, probably because they're most likely releasing console around the same time, and they don't want to have the console players double pay effectively. So I think that is definitely one of the reasons, would be my best guess. You know, there's again a high likelihood that console is coming this year, at the very least early next year, but I would say probably late this year. Now, how do we know that console is most likely in development? Well, there's been strings attached to it, and obviously we've got the recent controller development being incorporated into the PTR and for Season 5, and it's actually really well done. I've made a video on that if you want to check it out. It feels pretty smooth. Another thing that sort of hints towards it is the fact that the developers were quite passionate when it came to certain features, I guess you could say, such as haptics for DualShocks. Now, this is actually, in my eyes, if I was just developing controller support for Steam, I wouldn't really give two shits about haptics. That again leads into the theory that we are getting a console release this year or next year at the least. What does that mean? I don't really know yet, but it does also mean that we are going to probably get a resurgence in player counts. We'll be getting probably the rest of the crossplay features this year to bring the player numbers up for PC. My best guess is actually that we're not going to get fresh start servers for PC, and it's going to be console locked fresh start servers. This makes sense. You know, you don't want the people that have been playing the game for 3 years to just go and stomp all the newbies. That doesn't really make sense. It's bad for business. But I do believe we will get the cross-world features, so you will be able to play with console players from that point of view. And maybe they will open those fresh start servers up after a duration of time once the console players are familiar with the game. I just don't think it's a smart move for them to open it to PC players. Maybe we'll get some new PC fresh starts to coincide with that, and as it stands, I truly do not think we'll be getting PC fresh starts, but we will be getting console fresh starts to coincide with console release, which all makes sense. There's most likely going to be cross-world crossplay. That just makes sense, and it's good for player numbers. Other than that, there's not really much else we know, again, because the developers are being very secretive and quiet for seemingly no reason, in my opinion. Like, I actually don't really know why they're being quiet. No developer has gone this long without communications or teasers on their planned content. Like, not even a single teaser of what they're working on is crazy to me. I just want to, you know, point that out as a very interesting move from a AAA studio. You know, you've got other games, other MMOs that plan usually a couple years out, and tease their expansions even a few years out, but with games like New World, we don't even know what content we're getting next month, which is kind of absurd to me. And again, we're probably not getting any content next month, but that is, yeah, besides the point. I just want to make this as sort of a quick little, I guess, you know, just update video. I kind of do want to do this format a little bit more where I just chuck some gameplay in front of you guys. Also, actually just created a FPS channel if you want to check out my FPS highlights. I'm going to keep that separate from the New World stuff, of course, because you guys come here for New World content, but if you want to watch me play other FPS games, you can always head to this channel here. And yeah, that's, I think, everything I want to discuss in this video. Just, again, that flintlock gameplay is really interesting, and, you know, does sort of, I do hope we are getting either dagger or flintlock this year. I think those are the two most wanted weapons. Dagger probably being the most wanted, and I would say flintlock is probably a close second. I wouldn't mind either. I personally want dagger more, even as a musket main, but I wouldn't mind flintlock either. I could definitely build a lot of content around that. You know, but yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.